Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Our Venture. I have two special guests, Ali and Sierra.
Hello.
No.
And today we're going to be talking about aliens. That's just the topic, aliens. And I guess the first thing I want to start off with is because me and you was talking about Ali on the Talkaholic Junction podcast. We it's a little bit at the end, but one thing I want to ask you was giants, like the giants and aliens and all that type of stuff.
Like, I mean, as far as I feel about a lot of things, is like, if one day someone said it was true, I'd be like, yep, makes sense. But, like, some things, like, in terms of giants, it's like, I feel like we got to separate folklore from, like, reality. And, like, you got to think, like, a lot of these giant stories come from areas with, like, shorter people. And then it's like, and then we hear stories about giants being 7 feet tall, and like there are people that are 7 feet tall, right? That are walking around right now. So, then are they giants? And then by that standard, if they're giants, like imagine them going to a country with people that are like 5 feet tall. They're got to be even bigger to them, right?
That's facts.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of think we are the giants.
Yeah. I think there's really tall people that may have encountered really short nations, and then it kind of just grew from there. I don't know if I believe that, like them opening doors in mountains and snatching people up stuff. That seems a bit far fetched to me, but I get.
I think a lot of folklore, like tales around giants, were kind of created as a means to help children stay in line. Kind of
Yeah.
create that fear tactic to make children be afraid of something and to act right. So I feel like maybe some of those things were created out of that. But like the aliens thing, I I personally I want to believe that aliens are true or like real, and but I just don't believe that they are viewed as like how we depict them in society.
Yeah, and to go on my alien, I'll go on that little thing I was saying on the last podcast, is that I do believe aliens exist. I just don't believe they're really interacting with us. And I think aliens look at us a lot like we look at the North Sentinel Island. That island off of India with the people who have never actually talked to other people, and would like kill people on sight, right? I think they look at us a lot like that, like heathens and savages, and to stay away. If you go, it's at your own risk. Because like the reality is, let's think about like, if an alien did actually crash on Earth, what would happen? Well, first the government would snatch that mofo up so fast.
Yeah.
Like them coming in and saying like the general coming in being like, what did we learn? And then the scientist being like, I don't know, we don't speak alien. And then the general being like, well then stop wasting time and cut the bitch open. And then they cut him open. And then the general comes back and goes, what do we learn? And the doctors go, nothing, we're not alien doctors.
That's the real ET story.
And then they're like, shit. And then that's what they mean when they say we lost our evidence. They lost a piece of alien evidence they had because they killed the one alien they managed to catch. And because, like, think about it like this. The aliens, if they were in outer space looking at Earth, have you guys not seen pictures of Earth from outer space? Our cities glow like glow sticks. Why would they even come down here? They could just blow us up from space, right? Like, so like for me, I feel like it's like one of those things, if we were a developed nation and we were going to a less developed nation and we walked up and said, take us to your leader. And that person was like, it's this guy. And then we go to that guy and we're like, are you the leader of this nation? He's like, no, it's that guy. And then we go to that guy and we're like, are you the leader? He's like, no, it's that guy. We'd get pretty damn annoyed really fast, right? And I think we'd be like, tell us when you have an actual leader. And I feel like aliens are the same way. They're going to wait until we have a united government, like a singular government, before they waste their time coming down here and say, take me to your leader. Because as soon as they do that, every single freaking, you're going to got Biden, Vlad, Kim, they're all going to start fighting over who's the leader, right? So it's just like, I don't know. I think they're watching us, and they probably pick up our satellite signals and have they probably have subscriptions to like Earth Plus,
Yeah.
And they just watch our TV and they watch us, and it's just like, for them, it's like, let's watch reality TV. And then they just watch us through our own Google satellites. or they're like, let's see what they're watching on HBO, you know? So they all probably speak English. They probably watch, you know what I'm saying? They're just like, they know what's going on. They're like, they know what's up. They're like, nah. They probably come down here once in a while just to fuck with us and then fly away.
Hell yeah, that reminds me of an episode of South Park. That episode where they had the live, what is it, Earth, and then pretty much it got canceled, and you're talking about destroying us.
Yeah, like it's also like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes, I forgot about that movie.
And but yeah, no, so I do believe aliens exist. I just don't think they're wasting their time with us. And I think if we ever see aliens on TV, this is what I'm going to tell you right now, and I will stand by this. Which is, if we ever see aliens on TV, I think it's going to look something like this. The aliens will show up on TV and they'll be like, "Humans, we've heard of all of the trouble your leaders have put you through. You're dying, you're sick, you're houseless, whatever, right? We're here to make them give you everything you want. And then, as of this day, you guys have houses and healthcare and food, right? And then we're all going to be like, yeah, these aliens are sick. Woohoo. And then the TVs will shut off and they'll pull the alien masks off and it's just the rich people. And they're going to be like, bet, we got to stay in charge and give them what they wanted." You know?
Bamboozled.
It'll be like some Scooby-Doo ass shit, you know? So that's kind of what I think. I think if we ever saw aliens on TV, it'd just be rich people in costumes telling us what we want so they can stay in charge and not die at the same time.
Yeah, because the government, they were way too open. Because remember, was it during COVID when they were just like, yeah, aliens are real? And they just
you want to know why?
What's up?
Why?
Because they knew every time they said UFO, we would write them another $1 trillion check. They're like, shit, UFO, another $1 billion comes into the government funding. UFO, you know? So they're just chanting that to get money. Yeah. And then as soon as they weren't getting money from it anymore, what do? They just released a report saying there was no aliens ever visiting Earth, no UFOs ever happened, blah, 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 right?
Man, because then we start up the, the Space Force not long after that.
Yeah, boy, that was so cool, right? Look, I almost joined the Space Force. I really wanted to, but the thing that got me about the Space Force is I was afraid that I'd be sent to spread freedom and democracy in other countries too, not just in space. Right? We started the Space Force. What are they gonna do? Like, what is this? What does that even mean? Like, they're training to do what? Like, we are at least 20 more, even with Elon Musk's rockets, we are nowhere. Like, where are they gonna go in space? Like, the space station can't fit all of them people. What if there's actually secret bases on the moon they're lying to us about? And what if we do see, you know how like they always say there's green screens on the International Space Station videos? Everybody's like, it's a green screen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What if it is a green screen, but instead of hiding a swimming pool, it's hiding a bigger space station?
I'd be sick, but knowing the government, they'd be like about 50, 60 when we knocking.
And then you're like, you guys keep asking us where the Space Force is gonna go. Look up, and then they drop the curtain, and we see like this giant ass space station that's the fucking Death Star that's been there for the last 30 years we didn't know about. Lord, that's what's on the dark side of the moon.
What does Space Force do? What?
Wait, like, what do they do? I don't understand what they do. Like, what do they do?
Is it like the CIA? Like, is it something like that where it's like you can't know until you're a part of it?
No, it's a military branch of the government that handles everything space related, right? Think of like the army in space. But the reason I say what do they do isn't literally like what do they do? I don't know, but more of like, what is their function or purpose? Because we aren't in space. You know what I'm saying? Like, we aren't at that point in technology that we're just floating around in space needing hundreds of, space rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
What? You know what I'm saying? It's not a matter of, like, we know what they're supposed to do, but it's like, but they're not. Like, none of them have been in space. There's been, like, the 5 astronauts for NASA who goes to space, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it just seems like a reason to take our money because, like, I guarantee you, none of these people who are in the Space Force will probably ever see space. But They sure as heck probably saw $150,000 plus a year in a salary on each one of them, or more.
So the Space Force, they develop, operate, and defend our advancements through space. What does that mean?
We're spreading freedom and democracy to planets as well now, not just to other countries.
Yeah,
We're
it sounds
spreading
like Christopher Columbus, but in space is what it sounds
Yes.
like.
It's time to spread freedom and democracy to planets and beyond.
Yeah, because you right. Humans are the type. If let's say we messed around and found a way to go to another planet, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we'd nuke that bitch right off rip.
Look,
I
they
feel
only
like
wanna do
there
that
must be
tomorrow.
aliens if we have a space force. What are we protecting about in space? So
Yeah, that's what I'm
obviously,
saying.
it
It's
seems
either a-
like you guys are worried about something here.
No, I think it's just a sham to steal our money and taxes. That's what I think. I think it's all a load of crap and that it's just a waste of our tax money, personally. Not that I don't believe in aliens. Like I said, if an alien came up to me and said, hey, bud, you want to get on my ship and fly into outer space? I'd be like, bet. And I'd climb on. I'd probably be an alien sex slave, but, I wouldn't question that. I would just get on because it's an alien asking me to go in space, right? And then what it would be is probably our fucking own government in a fucking spaceship dressed up like E.T., in one of their like top secret TR-18, TB-18, or whatever they're called spaceships that they already have. Also, another thing is they could be lying to us. They could actually have way more advanced technology. At least when I was at William and Mary and when I was in college doing history, they taught us that the military was 25 years ahead of us technology-wise.
That is true.
So who knows? Maybe the Space Force is in space and we just don't know it, right? Because they're lying, which is also something the government does a lot of. So who knows? Like none of us really know what's real anymore, I feel like.
Yeah, because think about it. Just a couple years ago, the military showed us. So that means they had it for a while. They showed us the camouflage that was it up.
That
and
was.
Yep.
And you walk past, you ain't really gonna notice. So think
Yeah.
about what it's like now. It's been a few years, so I know it's a lot better than what it is.
And there's
Yeah.
another thing to take into consideration too, beyond even just like a way you can also, I feel like, speculate what the military has going on in terms of tech is like, think about how cheap certain types of technology are for us now. Like, for example, a drone, or like these people being able to build freaking submarines or fucking flying drones that they could stand on in their garage for no more than, a few $100, a couple $1,000, right?
Right.
So the fact that technology is so cheap and accessible to us now shows that the military is far past it. They have no need for it anymore. So now it's coming down to us to be able to use, right?
Mhm.
That's what they do. They pass the technology down once they've no longer deemed it a threat because they've got stuff that's better. So think about like how much more inexpensive like phones have become and how much more accessible like like televisions and all that technology is. It's like so dirt cheap now. It makes me wonder, like I said, your guys are even talking about, like, how far ahead are we really? Because if it's cheap, if that's that cheap for us, imagine how much money they're spending on the stuff they're doing.
Yeah, because imagine, like we said, the VR Quest 2, $100, $100 for a VR.
$100 for a VR headset. So imagine how far past they're developed now that these corporations can afford to build this type of technology for so cheap. So that just means they're miles ahead at that point, right? Because like it's just I don't know. I would love for aliens. Look, I've been saying for the last like year, the only thing I'm manifesting is a kaiju or aliens, and I'm pretty confident.
A kaiju?
Or a catastrophic weather event. And when I say catastrophic, I mean like an entire country sinking off into the ocean.
What's a kaiju?
A kaiju is like Godzilla or King Kong, like just an oversized monster. It's just a Japanese anime word for monster, oversized monster. So that would be like sweet. Imagine like the polar ice caps melt and like a fucking dinosaur wakes up. He's just been hibernating cold-blooded in the ice this whole time.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. I don't know.
That would be sweet. 10 years ago, there was an article about how as the polar ice caps start to melt, deadly viruses would be released into the waters that humans would not be able to fight off against. And then they kind of just killed that information because, nobody wants to hear that scary news when we can't stop the ice caps from melting anymore. So imagine how many viruses are floating around in the water. Who knows what else is going to wake up?
Hey,
Wow.
it's one of them type of
Oh,
situations.
for all we know, COVID-19 could have literally come from the polar ice caps.
Yeah, it's one.
From us.
It's one of
screwing
those
around.
like it is what it is type situation. It's just like, hey, I can't control it. Fuck it.
Yep. So they're like, shit, we better stop telling people about this because there's nothing stopping it. We can't stop it anymore. They can make them worry for over something they can't stop.
Yeah, stress for no reason.
Yep. So they're just like, let's lie because the government likes to treat us like we're their kids, So they like to keep stuff from us to protect us, which a lot of times is a load of crap. Yeah, because they know the truth. If they would tell us that, what would happen? People would care, and they would do something about it. And they don't want that to happen, so they want to keep taking our money.
That makes
And
sense.
another thing with aliens too is, I know you don't believe. Well, I know if it was to happen, you'd believe it. But like for right now, it's just like they there, but they haven't came to Earth. But a lot of people I've talked to aliens, they believe in the aliens are pretty much our god, and they sent like the first cells on Earth to start, life. And I'm like, I don't know, that's a little stretch, but
I don't
I
know.
don't
Who
believe
knows?
that.
Maybe who knows? Maybe, how they say that in the Bible and in these holy documents that, on Judgment Day, arcs will come and save us. Maybe the arcs are aliens. Maybe angels are actually aliens. Maybe God's an alien.
that would be wild.
The pyramid thing though does make me like interested in like how did we get the pyramids,
Yeah. And at the same time, there was multiple pyramids around the world, and none of them had access to each other.
Well, I mean, in the Grand Canyon, there's an Egyptian temple. You can actually look it up and look pictures of it, but they won't let you go to it
Why?
Wow.
because I think it's to control a narrative. I don't think they want you to know that Egyptians got to the North American continent because that would update some of the stuff they taught historically. Like that never happened is what they taught. So then they'd have to change all of the stuff they've already said. And old people don't like to them, they feel like it's calling them a liar or questioning their knowledge. But it's like, that's just old people, right? So that's how they feel. So it's like, we're probably just going to have to wait until all these boomers die off so we can actually rewrite history accurately with better information. Like, imagine how much information like the Vatican's hiding underneath in their little locked up tomb casket. Right?
I know it's a lot of sick shit in there.
Yeah, look, like, so I want to tell one small thing to lead into what I'm going to talk about, which is I read an article recently about how this pastor was caught with like 13 people with Down syndrome locked in his basement, and he was stealing their social security checks and cashing them, and bought himself a really nice house while like giving them like nothing, like they were like just being tortured, right? And so where I'm going with this is, back in the day, a lot of times they would say like, oh, this person is possessed, when probably they had schizophrenia, right? This person is a vampire, when they may have just been like anemic or something, right? And so, so what does the church do? They go to the city and say, hey, look, you have these vampires, you have these possessed people, and they're ruining your population. Give us your money and we'll take care of it for you. Just like they do now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, a lot of it was just them fear-mongering. You learn that the Christian Crusades set back civilization 900 years. So think of how far phones have developed in the last 15. So what do you think 900 years did? Especially with all that 900 years worth of information they probably locked in the Vatican.
That's
with
wild.
the aliens.
With the aliens, for sure. They probably captured at least 3 or 4 aliens. And then with all the mythical creatures, they probably hunted them all down, Think of how many people are like trophy hunters that are like, I gotta get that last elk, Well, imagine if there were unicorns and fairies and stuff for real like that. They wouldn't exist. Back then when there was no regulation or anyone to stop them, they would just be hunting those things mercilessly until there was not a single one left. I mean, look what Teddy Roosevelt did to the buffalo.
Oh,
So imagine them back then when there was no cameras or anyone to tell anybody what they're doing.
man, I can.
You
only-
guys have? Do you guys have Hawaiian Brothers where you're at?
Hawaiian Brothers?
Yeah.
I would have to look that up. I have my phone. Let me look on my phone. Never heard of that. What is that?
It's a Hawaiian fast foodish place. We just got it here. That's what I'm about to order.
Sounds sweet.
I thought
Welcome to Hawaiian Bros. Have you been here
I thought
before?
that our podcast was starting at 7:30, not 6:30.
What did you
Well,
say again?
8:30, not 7:30
I
for
was
you guys.
asking if you're ready to order.
Oh, yes, I believe I am.
Sorry. So sorry.
All right,
You're
what can I do for
okay.
you?
I'm not pressed. I don't know how he feels. Hawaiian
Can I
Bros.
get a
I'm not worried about it.
small
It's the
of
aliens.
It's the aliens.
They planted Hawaiian
Huli
Brothers here.
A small huli huli.
Yes, and a butt burger, please.
You're
sorry, I
not
keep
on
getting
speaker,
fucked
so
Would you like to add a pineapple skewer onto that dish?
No, the closest one is in Iowa. It says for me.
Dang.
I'm look that up.
And then
Look it up.
Hawaii-
It's good. We tried it like last
and
week
I
and
would
we're already
like
back.
Is it brothers or
classic
bros?
Bros.
Smash Bros.
Malachi.
A classic Molokai.
Yes.
The closest one to me is in Illinois.
Holy crap. How far away is that? Drive wise.
I don't think it's worth the drive.
That's very far. That's past me.
All right, the small huli huli and that classic Molokai. Are you a rewards member?
Chicago is in Illinois.
You can contact our website
Oh,
or
yeah.
app. When you sign up, you get a free
What are you in
soft
West
and
Virginia or
$10 off on your
Kentucky
birthday
or
month.
something? I thought
He's in
Order
Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
Antonio.
Oh, it's in the Illinois area that's next to fucking Missouri.
All right, your total is $22.80.
It must be like a Midwest.
That's a
Thank
4-hour. That's
Thank you.
4-hour drive. Fuck that.
Sorry. Well, when you come to see me, we can come here. If it's still my favorite on the list.
It just
I-
depends how you feel, I guess. Then
Yeah. Do
it
you
only
think?
takes one employee pissing you off, and you're gonna hate them.
Yeah, and I'll never go back. Literally. You
Like,
know me
sorry,
too well.
Carlos. I know I said I was gonna take you there, but that employee jipped me on my fries. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and her got a huge fight in the middle of the store. They called the cops. It was crazy. Should have just given me my fries.
That's hilarious. Do you guys think that Hawaiians? I almost said Hawaiians. That's obviously what I'm thinking about. Do you guys think that aliens have procreated with humans?
If they've
I
been
don't-
here, probably. Shit, I'll
That
probably
would be-
fuck an alien.
Of course, yeah, of course. If they've been here, like let's live in La La Land and pretend like they've been. Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I believe they've been here. I'll live in La La Land in my own imagination. I know you guys believe otherwise, but if they've been here, absolutely. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I go to an alien planet, I'm be like, where the hot alien babes at, right? Like, if I'm
Really?
going to
You
the
would bang an
center of the-
alien?
Look, if I'm
Fuck
going
yeah.
to the center of the earth, I'm gonna be like, where are these center earth babes at? If I'm going to the bottom of the ocean, where are the mer babes at? I don't care where I'm going, where are the babes at? And I'm telling you, if I go to an alien planet, yeah, I would. Yes, I would. I don't care if they look like an octopus. As long as they can speak to me, it's good enough.
Shit,
What if they
it-
can't speak
if
to
it
you?
can
And what if their private parts are different than the human private parts?
Make
No, I
something
have
up.
to communicate with it because if I can't communicate with it, it's no different than a cow to me, right? So I have to be able to prove that it's intelligent. If it's intelligent, bet, let's go. So
Well,
like if a hot female orangutan walked up to me and was like, "What's up, babe?" I'm like, "You talk. That's good. Let's go."
What the
okay,
fuck?
fine. What if they still can speak, but it's a different language that you can't understand, but they know what parts of your body that they need to touch and how to do it?
Bet, let's go.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that.
You know what? My
Oh,
biggest-
Carlos changed his mind.
I'm thinking my biggest fear is imagine if like the alien's like, yeah, fuck me, you fuck the alien, but the alien gets you pregnant, and it's like, hey, hold the fuck on. It's like you got a good time, and then you got this lump growing on your dick, and it's just
Look
like,
at this really, and then your like dick explodes and an alien baby comes out.
yeah,
But then they replace it and they're like, no, don't worry, Carlos. And they just use like a little dropper tool to drop some liquid and it grows back twice as big.
Damn.
I don't need it
You
that
could probably
big.
go try to-
Fuck no.
He's like, I don't know. Twice as big? You said 3 times. 3 times, Carlos.
Fuck.
3 times as big. So now instead of being 2 inches, it is 3 inches.
Oh my gosh.
or what if they said it's squared? They'll square it. That means that's even way bigger, right? So that's
Are you talking about like the rounded off type squared or like sharp edge square?
like 3 squared. So now it'll be like 3 times 3, so 9 inches. So you'll be set.
My fucking God.
The only thing is your dick explodes when you have one of their babies. But
Nah,
that's
it's not
okay.
worth.
Listen,
it's not
girls
worth
get IVs in their back, right? So it's not like I'd be like, how much time do I have before that happens? Is it like something that's instant, or does it lead up? And they'd be like, yeah, you got like 6 months, or you got like 3 months. Oh, okay.
God damn.
And then they just rushed me to the hospital and put me under. My dick exploded, put the baby on, put the magic juice. Now I'm 27 inches. And then it's like, fuck yeah, that's legit.
I don't know. It's just the dick exploding. That's the thing. The dick exploding will fucking.
Then
I don't understand how we got here.
I wouldn't even have to use the golden hip effect anymore. I can just whip that bad boy out.
Now, hold on. Time out. Now, if I can get my dick custom made, like I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
a car, like put
Yeah.
fucking like a candy paint
Yeah.
job on the side of
They'll
it.
let you pick hood size. They'll let you pick, they'll let you pick everything. They'll be like, hey, look, do you want your tip to be flat? Do you want it to be round? Do you
Fuck
want
it.
it to be like a mushroom?
It's worth
They're
it.
like,
Dude.
look, they'll be like, do you want it to be alligator skin? We can do that for you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put the Talkaholic Vile Venture logo on the side of it. Listen here.
It's neon light up too. Every time you take it out, it goes, hell yeah.
Oh my god. The
Has a
fact that
speaker
nobody
in
has
it.
brought up vibrator settings, I'm like kind of
That's
getting
fair
pissed.
too,
Low-key.
right?
You're
Look,
not even
it
thinking of the
vibrates.
ladies.
It vibrates. It does backflips,
There's hydraulic.
It
There's
can do your
hydraulics on that
taxes for you,
motherfucker. Make
too.
it bounce.
And look, yeah, like it can do your taxes. And it's like shit. At this point, where do I sign up? I have 3 babies.
What the fuck? Imagine
Same.
if you make
Do I get it 3 times the size each time I have a kid? So is it possible that I could be using it as a leg by the end of next year? Like,
Mm-mm.
just
this is
leaning
really
on it.
getting me.
I'm a
Yeah,
little.
just
You have to buy-
leaning on it. Exactly.
You have to buy
right?
2 sets of shoes.
That
Oh.
yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You buy
That's what I'm saying,
buy a
right?
pair of pants with an extra leg sleeve and just fucking.
Is
Oh,
it like the superpower for women if they sleep with the male version of aliens? Is anytime they blink, they can make any man they want disappear.
Wow.
And so I think it's not. I think they got the better option of the powers. I think.
And what about if you miss them? Can you make them undisappear or once
Yes.
you?
You can
Okay.
undisappear them when you want to.
Yeah,
They
that's
just annoy
great.
you. You blink your
'Cause,
eyes
you know-
and go away.
We'd be changing our minds real quick.
Like shit, I just sent him to the void for no reason.
Yeah, he comes back. He's like, "Why would you do that?" And it's like, "And I'll do it again, and I'll do it again."
He comes back. He's like, time works differently over there. I was with one of those aliens. I know I have it wrapped around
And then
my
he
waist
comes.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, he's got a
No.
freaking lump on his dick when he comes back. I'm
like,
like,
yeah.
"Back to the void with you."
He's like, I have 6 kids over there now. Look, one day here is 3 years there. It's been crazy. I've got a lot to tell you. I didn't know if I was coming home. You're like, how long? 10 minutes.
Ooh, time out.
Yeah.
When you're in the
Yeah.
void, how does time go? Is it like 10 minutes here? It's like a few years in that bitch, or is it like
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
that's what he's saying.
What he's saying.
Yeah.
So if she banishes you, to her, she can be like, wow, that was the best 3 hours of my life. For you, that's 6 years. No, it's more than that. That's like you come back, you're gonna be like freaking Benjamin Button. You'll be like 90 years old. And you're like, shit, oops, my bad.
my lord? Imagine if she forgets about you too.
That's what I say. You gotta make that family over there. You be using that thing as a whip and a lasso. You be able to catch some wild animals to eat and everything.
Oh my god.
There's a snake in my boot.
But yeah, no way. Of course I would. Of course I would. I don't even care if it was an alien and it was like I said, If an alien comes and asks me to go to outer space, I'm gonna get in the ship. I'm not even gonna question it. For all I know, I could be dinner. Like I'd be the dumbest deer in the world, right? Like imagine you're hunting and you're like, "Come here, deer," and the deer just hops in your truck. Yeah, that was easy.
No
Alien
ammo?
comes,
I'd be like,
and I'm like,
I need to see pictures of where we're going. What kind of food you guys got over there?
Questions. I'm gonna find another human.
Bye. I'll be like, all right,
I
bye.
just gotta jump in, and then like, that's what I said. I'll probably be an alien sex slave or something. I won't even realize.
So
it.
I can see her. I can tell you're eating right now.
You can hear it? Shit.
all I hear is.
Actually hasn't gotten her food yet. She's thanking the driver.
Is the Grinch?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Okay.
can't.
What about the Loch Ness monster?
Is that in the water?
yeah. I'm not
I
going
feel
to.
like it could be real because it's just like a dinosaur, right? So maybe there was a dinosaur that survived, and the oceans are deep enough. And then also, you want to know something I'll add to this mystery for you guys? Is there was this guy, he tracks whales, and he has a TikTok, and they always take his TikTok down, and they say that he's a liar, but he's not. And so he was tracking these whales, and they would swim underneath Florida, right? And underneath Texas, and like all underneath the United States. And he's like, this doesn't make sense. And then the people are like, it's just a GPS error. Or what if there's underwater caves really deep in the ocean that these whales are just swimming in and having a blast underneath the freaking states? And so,
Whoa.
who's to say some freaking ancient creatures or dinosaurs and shit don't be just living down there and not coming up because they know there ain't nothing good up here for them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
See, I would believe there's dinosaurs and stuff like that still right now. Because have you seen that one fucking bird that looks like a Five Nights at Freddy animatronic with the big beak?
Are you talking about that spoonbill thing or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's like,
I haven't seen it.
yeah.
Oh, Sierra.
Birds look so much like dinosaurs. When I see birds, you definitely have, Sierra. You probably just ain't remembering it. But listen, like when I see some of these birds, it makes me wonder: were dinosaurs lizards? Maybe they all really did just all have feathers and were giant birds.
Yeah.
Because imagine a T-Rex that acts like a chicken. That would be scary as hell. Have you guys ever seen a chicken that eat anything that moves? Spiders, snakes, mice. They will go after everything.
Even chicken.
So imagine you get some freaking giant chicken running around, fucking dinosaur pecking at you, trying to eat you while you're just trying to run, you know?
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
Have you heard what a real dinosaur sounds like? That shit is terrifying.
No, I haven't.
Oh, they took the vocal cords of some of the dinosaurs and played it for what it would sound like. Sounds nothing like the movies. That shit. If I heard that late at night, not gonna lie to you, fuck trying to fight. I might just off myself.
I want to hear it.
Listen,
Hold on, let me look it up because I could play it on here.
also, like Jurassic Park lied about Velociraptors. They like nowhere near as crazy or as cool as in Jurassic Park. Velociraptors are like 3.5 feet tall and look like freaking tiny dinosaurs with feathers.
Really?
Yeah, they look nothing like the Jurassic Park thing. Jurassic Park,
Why?
they're literally
Why'd they do that?
Because they thought Velociraptor sounded cool, but they didn't think it looked cool, so they just changed the way it looked and got the name. Because they like
Wow.
But yeah, they look nothing like that. They're like 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall, and they have like feathers on their heads and on their arms and tails.
All right, I'm about to play this. Tell me if y'all can hear it.
let's do this.
Hopefully there ain't no. Can you hear that?
No.
Hold on.
I kind of can. I feel like. Oh. Whoa.
Fuck that.
No.
No.
I'd be running for the hills.
No.
Yeah, you see, nope. I'm not really afraid of a lot of animals, though. There's very few animals that I think I would run from. But I don't think I would mess with dinosaurs. I mean, I've held alligators. I like played with alligators in the swamp. Those don't
Really?
much. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Like I remember the first time I was in the swamp. Yeah. You've never held an alligator?
No.
A baby one.
Oh, you never like me and my friends used to play a game called Alligator Chicken, and it was 3 of us. And so what we would do is we found this alligator in the swamp in North Carolina, and we were probably like, I don't know, like maybe 5. Like it was before foster care, so I was like probably like 5 or 6 maybe. And so we would run and see who would get closest to smacking it on the head, right? And so
Oh
I
my
ran,
God.
I hit it on the tail, and I ran away, right? And I think his name was John, ran and he slapped it on the back. And then Pete, he ran, he slapped it on the head. And then he turned around to run, and one foot got stuck in the mud, and the other foot got stuck in the alligator's mouth.
Oh my God.
And me and the other kid, we were scared, so we ran away too. And then we went home and played video games. So the next day, we went to One Foot Pete's house. He was still Pete at the time, and he had knocked on the door, and his mom answered. We're like, "Hey, can Pete play?" And then his mom was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck off my porch and never come back!" You know, she went ballistic. She went fucking nuts. She was not happy with us. And
Well, why'd you just leave him to get eaten by a fucking alligator?
sound like her now? So anyway, we were like, "I'm sorry, we were scared." And she's like, "You can't play with him anymore." So we left. And anyway, he still hung out with us in school, and he had a sweet bionic foot after that. And we everybody called him One Foot Pete. But
No.
it was sweet. It was pretty fun.
Ollie, you're literally telling this story like a fucking man did not lose his leg. What the fuck?
Tell the
What?
Growing up in
The
the
fuck-
South is
what a
different.
fucking bystander you are to tell the fucking story and end it like, oh, he has a pretty sweet bionic leg. His fucking leg got eaten by an alligator, Ollie. Why did you say that? Why did you tell that story so fucking nonchalantly? I'm sweating.
Listen,
It
because
just made me
listen,
mad.
alligator stuff happens
wish-
in the South in North
I
Carolina.
wish
That's-
you were the fucking one that got your leg.
Listen,
eaten.
I'm gonna
You
tell
the
you, I
story the same
almost
way.
did. I remember the first time I went alligator hunting was with my dad. He was like, "You want to come alligator
Oh
hunting?"
my God.
And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." He's like, "Don't wake up your siblings. Shut the fuck up." Right? And so we snuck out of the trailer while my siblings slept, and his friends like, "Come on," and gave my dad a mag light, right? And so we went out there, and he's like, "Shh, you can't talk." And we were in a John boat in the middle of the river, and they gave me the flashlight, and they had me shining the light. And he's like, "Okay, there's one." And then the guy reached out with the baseball bat and hit the alligator on the head, and then pulled it into the boat with us.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
my dad started to tape its legs up, together, and it woke up. And
Oh my
guess where
God.
its mouth was? Right at me. And then the alligator starts snapping like crazy, and I'm laughing. I'm like, and I'm kicking it in the face. And my dad's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, you dumb son of a bitch?" And then I hit it again and then wrapped his mouth shut. And he's like, "You can't bring your son next time." And I'm like, "That's so cool." And so, that's just the alligator life. Sometimes they get your foot, sometimes they don't. And, and that wasn't even like, and that was like just how it is. I remember right by that same park, there was a place that served the best possum and potatoes, right? And so every summer, they would offer you a nickel for every single possum you'd bring them, right? And then I remember one summer I got like $10,000. Imagine being 6 with like 10 grand. It was pretty freaking sweet.
They gave you how much for every possum?
A nickel.
What?
What? How many possums is that? Do the math.
I don't know. That was a lot. I just remember I open a trash can and grab a possum, right? That's how it worked. They play dead. So, you grab a possum and you just bring it to the restaurant and they give you a nickel. And then after a little while, you have a lot of nickels.
Dang. Dang.
But listen, and so there was this guy, his name was Harry. He lived in our town. And so when you're really poor, you can't afford Pokemon cards, right?
Facts.
And so like at the time, I wasn't thinking I had $10,000 and that could get me a lot of Pokemon cards. The only thing I was thinking about was how I had number 1, number 87, number 32, and number 45 of Harry's feet pics, right? And I knew if I took this $10,000 from him, I can get the rest of those feet pics. And my friends would be jealous because we have all been collecting them over the summer, and they were all trying to get the rest of them before I did. And so now I got the full collection. Sure, we couldn't afford Pokemon cards, but Harry's feet pics were just as good.
Wow. And this is a real story.
Harry was the man. It wasn't weird or anything. He was just like trying to make a buck. And we wanted trading cards, and so he was selling his feet pics like trading cards. You know, like he'd be like, "This one's the 3-toe because I lost this toe when I was messing around with an alligator."
What
You know?
the
How many kids were buying these fucking feet pics?
all the kids, because we couldn't we didn't have cars, so we couldn't go to the store to get Pokemon cards and shit, you know, and our parents wouldn't buy that for us. So this guy was like, I have trading cards, and then we all just started buying them. It wasn't supposed to be, like I said, it wasn't anything weird. It was just they were trading cards.
And who had the like which foot won all the other feet?
Probably the 3-toe one, because like that was like freshly after he had gotten it bitten off by an alligator and he had stitches in it still. And
How did an alligator get a whole kid's leg and then just one dude's toe?
not his whole leg, his foot.
Ah, that ain't
Jesus.
too bad.
Just his foot. It was literally from the ankle down. So
So is that's a common thing to hear? Like people in the South just have missing limbs from alligators?
yes, and
Ah.
other animals and tragic accidents and doing dumb hillbilly stuff. You know, like
That sounds like some Florida man shit, low key.
Yeah.
oh man, this is a legit North Carolina was crazy, I'm telling you. And that, like I said, this is all before foster care. I remember
No wonder why you were in foster care. They got you outside fucking around with alligators. I'd have
that wasn't
taken your
just
ass
it.
away.
I remember one time me and my friend had went to the payphone and we were like, hey, you know what would be funny? And he's like, what's that? And then I was like, we should call the police. And we both agreed that's a great idea. And so he called the police. And when they got there, he's like, hey, y'all aren't in trouble, but who did it? And I was like, he did.
Jesus.
Just
And
honest.
anyway, he went to juvie and I went to Disney World, but we both learned our lesson not to call the police.
What? You got to go to Disney World?
No, I didn't go to Disney World. I went to foster care. You already know that.
Oh. Well, the way you said the story, you went to juvie and I went to Disneyland.
No.
That's literally what got you into foster care was calling the cop?
No.
Oh, okay.
They didn't do anything. They just were like, y'all need it. They just were like scaring us straight, you know, like, don't ever do that again or you'll go to jail. And we're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know,
Did it work?
No.
I never called the cops again. It was a prank
Oh.
call, so I would think so.
You better me. I would have called again. Shit.
I remember one time on that same road though. This makes me think about a time on that road. We had this really long road that led to the mobile home park, and I was in there with my grandpa, and my grandpa was like, "Hey, if you could tell me which one's the gas," or it's my dad. He's like, "Hey, if you could tell me which one's the gas or brake, I'll let you drive." And like I was 6, not a stupid idiot. And so I was like, that's the gas and that's the brake. He's like, well, a deal's a deal. And then I crashed the car into a tree.
Uh-uh.
Swear to God, I slammed my foot right on the gas pedal and we went, oh. My dad's like, well, that's my bad, you know. I did tell him he could drive.
Oh my God.
My
That's wild.
family were Gallaghers. I don't know if you've seen this show.
Oh, shameless.
Shameless, but my family were straight Gallaghers. I'm telling you, my grandpa had a junk removal business, right? And then like the junk removal company wanted to start charging him $3. Like that's nothing, right? $3. He got so pissed he started just dumping the garbage on the side of the road.
Oh my God.
He never got caught either. He made so much money.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
My grandpa was just ever meet. I remember one time my grandma spent all Thanksgiving Day making like this amazing food. And then him and my grandma got in a fight for some reason. And so he flipped the table over. And then he's like, I'm taking my grandson and we're going out. And then like me and him left. And then we went to the casino. And then like before we went in, he put a helmet on my head. And I was like, what's that for? He's like, don't worry about it. so we went inside. And then he was sitting me on his lap. And he was smoking a cigar. And he was playing at the the poker table, and the waitress comes up and she goes, "Oh, who's this? He's so cute." And he's like, "He's my grandson. I raised him. I'm taking care of him. His parents died in a car accident." And I was like, "No, they're not. They're at home." And then she gives my grandpa this funny look, right? And he's like, and then he covers my ears. He's like, "That's why he's wearing the helmet. His parents died in a car accident. He still doesn't understand." Anyway, so we end up going back home, and then he got pissed at my grandma. Guess why? Because she didn't go to Golden Corral to get more food. My grandpa was a POS. I'm telling you. One time he bought a bunch of cat food because it had a chance to win a trip, and he started feeding it to his dogs. And I swear to God, those dogs were probably transforming into cats because they ate a lot of cat food.
And he didn't get the trip?
No, of course not. My grandpa was a compulsive gambler and an alcoholic. He was a terrible person. He was an awful person. He believed in Bigfoot though, so that was pretty sweet. We get to go out on Bigfoot sightings. Usually that just meant he was gonna get really shit faced in the woods and fall asleep, and I was gonna be left alone for 3 days while I tried to figure out how not to die.
I like how you laugh when you tell the traumatic stories.
Because I like to try to sell it like stand up, so like when I'm saying a lot of this stuff, I'm being really dry with my stories. I intend for people to laugh at my misfortune. I remember one time we had went fishing and my pole got stuck in the water, and my grandpa's pole got stuck in the water, and he was like, "Hey, son, you want to go get that out for me?" And I was like, "No, Grandpa, there's alligators in there." He's like, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "Cool." And then he kicked the log I was sitting on, and I fell in the water. And he's like, "Oh, while you're in there, you want to get that out for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." Luckily, I didn't get eaten.
Damn.
But every time he would do something like that, he'd give me like a bag of Reese's, not to tell my grandma. And so I was fed well, boys and girls. I was fed so well. You don't even understand. I had so many Reese's. To this day, I love Reese's. That's the only candy I like to eat.
Just a little snacky after a little bit of abuse. I love it.
He's like, hey, you remember that waitress that I told your parents died to? And I'm like, "Yeah, Grandpa." He's like, "Here's a bag of Reese's. Don't tell your grandmother." I'm like, "Bet." My grandma adopted me when I was a teenager from the foster care system. She also believed in Bigfoot.
Wow.
But she didn't go get drunk. She just believed my grandpa wholeheartedly when he would tell her, "Yeah, we saw 3 Bigfoots."
She would believe it?
Well, it was that or believe he was an alcoholic going getting drunk in the woods with your grandchild.
Oh, shit.
Disassociation is a powerful tool.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Big fish, just a
She
big
looked like
ass.
that video of that army kid where his eyes are crossed and facing opposite directions of each other, and he's just like moving back and forth.
What the fuck? What video?
It's a video where like these drill sergeants are yelling at this kid, and his eyes are literally pointing left and right. And then he's just like swaying slowly with his mouth open back and forth. I'll send it to both of you after this. He's like, he is somewhere else. He is not on this planet. He is gone. No, but my grandma got hers a few times, so it was great. But yeah, I was adopted by my grandma. She was afraid of deer, so that was pretty sweet. And so I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. I'm rambling at this point.
I'm gonna say this. I don't blame her for being scared of deers because I don't know if y'all believe it, but skinwalkers, wendigos, I don't fuck with those. When I see a deer late at night, I go the other way. I don't fuck with that.
You sound like my grandma.
Skinwalker?
My grandma.
Skinwalkers, wendigo.
My grandma would believe that shit too. She'd be hitting them though.
Oh my God.
Out. Literally, those deer, if you went on the opposite side of the trees on the roads in the town in Iowa where my grandma lived, you could see where the deers use their hoof to carve out pigs. But, don't go, stay away. Like, those deer were afraid of her. I remember one time we were driving home at 9:00 at night, and I was on my phone texting girls. I was like 14. I got off work at GameStop, so I'm on my phone texting girls. And then I feel my head bounce off the dashboard like a watermelon on cement. I look up and I see nothing but blood. And I was terrified that my grandma hit like a bicyclist or something because she's nuts. And then so I open the door to get out of the van and I fall in a creek, like in water, which really didn't make any sense to me because we were on a road. Like, why am I in water? And then I look, and it's really dark. And so then I get up and I look around and I noticed there was a hill behind me that was about 25 feet in the air. And there was a deer pinned between her van and the tree.
Oh my God.
And I look at my grandma. I said, Grandma, what the fuck is this? She goes, it's safer to hit him than swerve and miss them. I said, you jumped. Anyway, the cops thought she was drunk. But yeah, no, she's not. She hated deer. One time she hit a deer and then she got so fed up, she used her jumper cables to try to attach it to the bumper because she was going to take it home and eat it. But when she got home, the only thing left was its leg.
Oh my God.
This all started because of her Chevy Cavalier. She had this Chevy Cavalier and it was her beloved Chevy Cavalier. And she was driving and she sees a flock of deer crossing the road, right, Carlos? Right, Sierra? And so she stops. And she sits there for a few minutes before she finally kind of dozes off and falls asleep. And she wakes up and they're still crossing the road. And then this rambunctious buck sees her, I guess, and he thinks like, oh, this is a predator. I'm going to show these ladies I'm the big deer. And then so he rams beside of my grandma's Chevy Cavalier, but his antlers get stuck in it. And it looked like that scene out of Tommy Boy where the deer screams. And him and my grandma started screaming and she slammed on the gas pedal and flew through the deer in front of her. They did like flips and landed on their feet and ran away. The other deer, though, the rambunctious buck, he was still attached to the car. So he's running like 45, 50 miles an hour beside her car while she's driving, and they're both screaming. And keep in mind, this town I was in, it was kindergarten through 12th grade, was all in one school. It was 100 people. And so everybody knew my grandmother now as this lady who went driving through town going 60 miles an hour with her and a deer screaming. And ever since that day, she became a recluse and hated deer. And she had made it her objective to get rid of them all. One time she tried to sign up for Cabela's Big Game Hunter, and she got disqualified because she put for her weapon a Pontiac Montana, which is her minivan. And then she had so many deer horns, her car was chrome. Like, it was originally factory black.
Wow.
And what do you mean by she became a recluse? Like socially, did the town like judge her for killing the deer or what?
No, it's just they're like, hey, aren't you that lady who drove through town with the deer?
And she got sick of that or what?
Yeah, but then she earned a new title because one day, so because my grandma was deathly afraid of deer, she would like to keep her dog inside to protect him from deer and the outside world. So he wouldn't be painted like us with her cars had been, right? And so she would leave her dog locked in. Then every morning at 5 a.m., she would get out to go look and check her Pontiac Montana to make sure the deer hadn't destroyed it. And at that time, Waffles, her dog, would bolt out the door and run away. And he was the town whore. She would get letters in the mail saying, your dog's been caught running at large. You quit to keep him locked up. That dog would bolt, right? He would be a fucking dog on the run. And so, anyways, my grandma would drive around town at like 5 in the morning with her van going, Waffles! Waffles! And she'd get out of her car and start walking through people's yard chasing the dog. And people would be like, go the fuck home. We don't want your breakfast. So they thought she was trying to sell breakfast out of her fucking minivan for the longest time, too. And so she got really mad and put this electric fence around the yard. And so when we put it on Waffles, he walked, got shocked, jumped in the air, and his front paws went left and his back paws went right. He landed and kept walking. He kept, and then they did it again. And he just kept going. He's like, I don't care. If this is the punishment, this is the punishment. You can't keep me from the ladies. And I want to tell you something. Everything I know, I learned from Waffles. He was a player. He knew a lot.
And so the fence didn't keep him in?
No, he didn't care about getting shocked. He just keep on going. He did not. And so my grandma would get a letter once a week from the town saying your dog has been caught running at large, and she'd have to go pick him up from the town place because he'd be in everybody's yard.
Oh Lord, I need me a dog like that.
I remember one morning my grandma woke up to check on her van, and so my friends in Iowa were really big hunters, and so we put a bunch of deer, fake, target deer around her van. And she woke up one morning and walked outside at like 5, and all the deer were surrounding her van in like some weird ritual. And she came busted through my door screaming. She gave me a broom and she's like, "You need to take care of this."
Dang.
She's like, "They're here. They found my van. They know it. They know I got them. They're pissed. They're all surrounding my van."
Your poor grandma.
That guy was funny. She's crazy though.
My
She'd
Lord.
always prank me though. I remember one time I went to the doctor's and he's like, "Don't you think he's a bit young for this?" And I was like, "A bit young for what?" And he's like, "A colonoscopy." And I was
Oh,
like, "You're,
jeez.
I was like, "You're right." And that's where we left. But my grandma thought that was funny.
Oh my god.
Nothing happened. Like we left, but she. But you should see the shock on my face.
Oh yeah, I would have been scared.
Hell yeah.
I'm out. And then she'd come laughing behind me as we're driving away in the car, and the doctor thinking, "Damn, so am I not getting off?"
Yeah, the doctor's like, so
Like,
the
what
next
the fuck?
patient?
She's like, "What the hell?" He didn't know what was going on.
Man.
I'm telling you, my family were Gallagher's, bro. They were Gallagher's.
You know
You
what?
don't even understand.
And that's probably what I'm gonna watch tonight before I go to bed.
That show is so good.
For real, it's been a while since I've seen Shameless.
Shameless is amazing.
But we have reached that mark. Time I gotta get up for work in the morning. I hate working, but
I gotta get up for the flea market. I hear you.
But that was another episode. Would y'all like to shout something out real quick for Vile Ventures?
Just thanks for having me.
Same here.
My fault. Would y'all like to shout something out on Vile Ventures? Not on my fault. Like just for yourself.
Oh, check out my podcast, Filthy Laundry, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I'm on all platforms. Filthy Laundry.
Check out on TikTok my profile. I argue with boomers to see the most unhinged what the fuck account you'll ever see.
I love it.
Fuck yeah. All right. Well, that was another episode. This one's going to be aliens plus more because there's a lot in this episode. So y'all have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever the fuck y'all are.
Right. All right. Have a good one.
Get it, bye.
All right, bye.